what we like to do is ask each one of our guests towards the end, what's that one encounter, whether that be a shot opportunity or just a blown encounter, basically, that still haunts you to this day, where it didn't work out. Basically, what's your close but no cigar?
Well, man, I had one here this January, and I don't get too bent out of shape of you know hunts going south. Because you could dwell. It's like I don't cry over spilled milk.
Makes one of us.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I'm just like, okay, it happened because you can get really in a bad place if you think that way. But I was in Iowa this January, and I hunted this one spot every time the wind was right. I had a black powder tag, but I chose to use my bow, and there was some cedars, and I knew deer come out of those cedars, and I was hunting it, and I have no cameras. I got there for a week hunt, dropped a camera or two where I wanted to hunt, and 50 yards from me cedars, and I know the deer come out. So when the wind was right, I hunt. So a few sits, I didn't see much, and then we got a big snowstorm, which I've been waiting for. Watching the weather out there, and I was going to take my muzzle loader out, but the snow was so wet and heavy that up in the forest, the trees, like up to 4 6-inch diameter trees, were bent over from the weight of the snow. I actually, right after the snow fell, I went up to this spot that was fairly open, and I got on a couple buck tracks, and they took me up into stuff that, like, if it wasn't for the snow, I could see 120 yards, but the trees were bent over. I couldn't see. It was like 20 yards. I couldn't. I said, because I was hunting for 4 days and 5 days, and then I was going to pick my gun if I didn't do any good. Where a snowstorm was coming, I got to have a chance of just killing one. So that was kind of, man, I was afraid to go the last day of the season. I was afraid to go track another deer and kind of hunt in the snow in a forest, beings that we couldn't see worth a shit. So I said, I'm going to go back to that bow spot. I did get a couple buck pictures, but um, they were just random, noon, one, whatever, in that area I was hunting, coming or going from them cedars. And I told my cameraman, I said, it's going to be a calm day. It's going to be tough to even take the muzzle lower and sneak through the woods. We can't even see. I said, let's go sit in that tree. And I had a picture of maybe a 140, 150-inch deer on that camera. I said, I know there's a deer with this snow. There's a buck in them cedars. He's going to come out of those cedars. And we just got to sit there all day. So we get the stand set, or it was already there, as where we've been hunting. And my stand was facing this way, and the cedars were here. So since I'm right-handed, I had to face the tree the whole time with my bow hanging. So if them deer come out, because if they come out of cedars, they're almost walking right toward me. And there was not many trees to get in. It wasn't like I could move. There was a couple big old oak trees, and it was tough to even get a stand in. And I said, I just need to stand to be ready because he's going to come out of them cedars. So a couple doe come through, and it was 12 o'clock, and I'm just staring at them cedars, and I was going to stand all day, you know, watch them cedars till he come out. And it was 12 o'clock. I said, I'm going to sit down for a half hour because I talked to my buddy that lives in Iowa, Rendell Eric. He's a big public land, kills monster bucks. I talked to him on the phone. He said, they probably won't move till dark. I was like, yeah, Rendell knows. So I'm going to listen. I turned around and sat down, and I'm sitting down for about 20 minutes, and I look up, and there's a doe staring at me, And so I'm kind of like sticking out on. I should have had my stand. I could talk about what I should have did, but I'm like this sitting, and sitting down on my tree, and there's a doe looking at me, just come out of them cedars, 45, 50 yards. And I'm like, oh man, it was dead calm, and the snow was 10 inches, fluffy, powdery. And I'm like, I need to stand up and turn like 180, get to be ready. And there was like 2 or 3 doe, and I seen a spike, and I looked to my left, I seen a deer move, and it was a I don't know, at least 155-inch, big, tall,
Good.
10 point.
Big enough, yeah.
Yeah, he was a stud. Not the one I had on camera, a big old buck. And I think one of the does were in heat. And he was like, it was like November. They would move. He was downwind of him. They would move a little bit. He would move. And he was just staring at him, just watching me. And I'm like, it's over. There's no way this is going to happen. She got to close they just, I just sat there and watched her. And she just turned and went, just walked away that way. And then here he went. And I'm like, gosh, man, and I told myself I was going to stand all day ready. You know what I mean? Because I don't know when it's going to happen. This is the last day. And I love hunting in the snow and the cold weather and late season. And it was like when I was only 10 hours to sit, I'm like, I don't have much time. You know what I mean? I need to be ready. And so that was tough pill to swallow. And people were like, wow. I'm like, well, after that, I said, well, so we got another 5 hours. Maybe we'll see another one. And we didn't, but
Of course.
that was tough. And then I think at dark, another doe come up along the edge of them cedars and was watching us. I'm like, what's going on? But I got there late season. I haven't been there in that spot in years. And I think someone was hunting that. There's many trees to hunt there. And it was a perfect spot, like bow spot. And just a little flat going in them cedars and right, and they come out of it. And I seen the bark off of my tree. I think someone had a stand in there and probably um, them does just like to us, like without even moving. So I think maybe someone was hunting there, maybe archery or shotgun, and we're into January, and I think the bucks were like transients. I think the whole area wasn't like a highly pressured area, and I think they just flow, through the area. Different bucks will move through at different times, and there's a lot of safe areas, a lot of private ground. But I think the does that lived right there probably were on the last guy who was hunting that spot.